It's Pete from Cheap Homesteading, and I'm working on the Massey Harris today. The problem is whenever the oil gets hot, it won't pump anymore, which would indicate a pump, but Massey Harris, when they first were made, had mineral-based gear lube in them. And they ran the hydraulics, everything was ran on them. So the relief valves, everything for this tractor is set to run gear lube. And that is a real problem because they tell you to replace it with trans hydraulic, but it is way thinner. So when I go out when it's cold, it works, and then as soon as it gets hot, it won't work anymore. The problem is on a lot of the tractor forums, they say if you put normal gear lube instead of mineral gear lube, the gear lube is going to eat all the brass in the transmission, which I don't really believe is going to happen because I've seen lots of brass in different transmissions. And the gear lube doesn't seem to eat it. Nevertheless, you can no longer get mineral-based gear lube anywhere that I can find anyways. So we are gonna throw normal gear lube in it and we're gonna see if it works, even if it gets hot. Oh my gracious. Who neglected their tractor now, eh? Well, most of them look like that anyways, because water gets in through the shifter boots. Even though I cover up the shifter boots faithfully, they still get in there. The problem is if you have a system that is designed to run on gear lube, the relief valve is set to run gear lube through it. The pump is made in such a way that it can run gear lube through it. Like this thing here doesn't have a filter because you're not going to filter gear lube. You can see the pistons in the bottom of the transmission and they just open up and whatever gear lube falls in, it pumps it. If the oil is way thinner, it's definitely not going to work properly. And another thing, the piston for my 3-point hitch is a steel ring with a gap, which probably doesn't matter so much if you have gear lube, but if you have thinner oil, it becomes a real problem because it leaks out through the gap quicker than if you had gear lube in it. We'll let this drain for a little bit longer, and I'll put fresh oil in it. I probably should flush it, but no matter what, I'm going to waste oil, so maybe I'll just run it for the rest of the year with this other oil in it. And then before winter, I will drain it out again and put fresh oil. And by then, it should be pretty clean, I think. It is Shell 8090. That has to do something because that's way, way thicker than transmission oil. Okay, so the oil doesn't look much cleaner, but it's definitely thicker, so we're gonna go give that a try. So there you go. I've used it for about 2 or 3 trips back here and it still continues to lift pretty good. So some of these old Massey Harris 50s did come with gear lube in them. And if you put trans hydraulic in them, they're not going to lift after it gets hot. And it's not really the pump, it's just the way they're set up. You could change it by changing out the pump and the relief valve, The newer ones came with filters and all that, so you probably could match one up and actually use trans hydraulic, but I don't know, I'm going to use it like this. So that's about enough for today, and you guys have a good one.